Hey everyone, so this is a really vulnerable video from me because some people have asked me to share what got me into holistic healing. As some of you know, I am now an integrative wellness coach and I do holistic healing where I combine mind, body and spirit and everything into one to help people heal, just like I healed myself. So to tell you a little bit about my journey, I have written a bit about this on my new coaching website. I've been selling a few courses, but I basically was in a position where I was in a lot of misaligned relationships, not very good work, didn't really like what I was doing in my job. And I just felt very disconnected from myself. And I found I was having a lot of health issues as well. So I used to get chronic bladder infections and all sorts of UTIs, urinary tract infections. I would have, and these would get really severe to the point that I would have to go on to several courses of antibiotics. And unfortunately, doctors, now they're becoming a bit more aware, but allopathic medicine and doctors, general practitioners, they gave me a course of 5 antibiotics in 1 year. So 5 courses of antibiotics. As you can imagine, that wreaked havoc on my immune system, even on my mental health. It was horrible. And at the time, I had no awareness of what antibiotics can do to your system. And I had no holistic or any type of health knowledge at the time. But I knew there were things going wrong. I had a terrible eyesight. I used to have PCOS, which apparently is a lifelong disease, and all sorts of things were going on. I had horrible cycles, to the point that I would faint and end up in hospital several times. My hormones were havoc. Anyway, so what I did was I actually got to a point where doctors said to me that I'd have to be on antibiotics, 1 antibiotic every single day for the rest of my life. When it got to that point, I was like, there is no way that this can be my future. There is no way that there is not an alternative here. And I started to not trust the science. And I started Googling natural medicine and ways to get rid of some of the ailments that I had at the time. And funnily enough, I came across all sorts of information out there. One being waterfall D mannose, which is a wood bark from a tree that instantly, and I'm talking within 48 hours, cured any UTI or bladder infection that I ever had. And since the age of 26, I have not had one single urinary tract infection, and yet the doctors told me that I'd have to be on 1 antibiotic every single day for the rest of my life. This blew my mind. I couldn't believe that people just don't know about these things out there because it's just not common knowledge. It's not put in mainstream media. For some reason, it's been suppressed. And then I came across people like Barbara O'Neill, medical medium, Dr. Axe, Jason Prawl. I came across all these natural medicine healers who have been working on integrating all sorts of mind, body, spirit practices, and where they have looked into herbs and nutrition. And it opened up my eyes to a complete world where I completely transformed my life, basically. I transformed my health, and this led me to transform my career, the decisions I was making every single day in my relationships and career, the type of life I was living, because I do think that wellness and health is integrative. I think it is a whole bodily, mental, emotional, spiritual system. And unfortunately, we're quite one-dimensional in the Western world. And yet Eastern practices have known about this for years and years, like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, Tao practices, again, the list goes on. They all align, they all integrate. There's so many things about those modalities that actually are very similar. So for instance, you've got acupuncture that works with your meridians. And then in Asian philosophy, like Ayurvedic philosophy, you've got things called nadis, which are very similar to the meridians. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to say is that it all aligns, and these Eastern practices seem to know what they're doing. So I went on to a deep dive of holistic wellness and care, and I really helped myself in all ways. And this made my whole life align all together. So that's what I want to do for other people. I want people to be able to understand that there are alternative methods when it comes to mental things. So many other things are out there, like CBT and NLP. These are psychological modalities that can be explored, and meditation, which again is not just spiritual, it's scientific because it works with your brain. And when it comes to your physiological health, there's things like herbs out there, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, like I mentioned. When it comes to your spiritual health, there are things like shadow work, a lot of Carl Jung philosophies, and things like mirror work, understanding our behaviors and our patterns and our limiting beliefs. So I got fascinated by these topics, and I really wanted to share this with you, so people can understand why I got into it and why I want to share the knowledge. And I hope that I can continue on my journey to explore and expand, and hopefully share that information with you. So I look forward to what the future entails.